So if you own a 15 to 17 F150 and you're looking for the most affordable full-width fender flares in order to get a little bit of protection for your quarter panels and fenders, or you just want that badass look, or maybe you got some aftermarket wheels with a bit of poke, then you should be checking out Rough Country's pocket style fender flares in the matte black finish. What I really like about these is how easy they install. They are a bolt-on application. There's no drilling required, so if you ever want to take them off and revert your truck back to stock, you can do so quite easily. Even though these are the most affordable option, they're still made out of a pretty rugged ABS plastic, so it's safe to say that these can take some abuse and they will continue to look good even after the fact. So if you want to see just how easy these are to install, you should stick around. I'm actually going to show you guys how to get this job done. You can get it done in about 30 minutes to an hour with basic hand tools. For that reason, I'm going to give the install very easy, 1 out of 3 wrenches on my difficulty meter. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so before we install our fender flares, we have to install the rivets in the pockets themselves. The instructions say that you're going to need a 3/16 Allen key, but in the case of our hardware, these are actually hex head bolts. So you're going to need a T40 hex head bit. You're also going to need a 10mm socket for the nylon locking nuts. All right, now that we have our hardware secured, we're going to install this rubber stripping around the edge of the flare. That's going to insulate the plastic on the flare from the paint on your truck, make sure that it doesn't scratch it over time. What you want to do is peel a little bit of the 3M backing off of the adhesive and then carefully apply the adhesive side on the inner lip of the fender. You want this long adhesive side on the inside, and the little rolled edge will be on the outside. Just go ahead and peel the backing off slowly as you go. Take your time because this stuff is pretty sticky. It's hard to peel it off once you stick it on there. All right, once you have that weather stripping installed, you're gonna do the same thing for the other 3 flares. I think you guys have the idea, so I'm gonna spare you the excitingness of me doing all 3. We're gonna go ahead and show you guys how to get these installed. So before we install our flares, we have to remove some hardware inside the fender well. There's actually 5 screws in total that you have to remove. For 3 of those screws, you'll need a 5.5mm socket, and for the other 2, you're gonna need a 7mm socket. And once you have that hardware removed, you can install your front flare. But before you throw it on, make sure you install these 2 retaining clips in the 2 center holes of the flare itself. You're actually going to thread 2 of those 5.5 bolt head screws that we removed earlier through these retaining clips to secure the flare to the vehicle. All right, now that we have our front flare installed, we're going to install our rear flare. Installing the rear flare is actually even easier. You don't remove any hardware from the fender itself. You actually secure the rear flare to the fender using these little clips provided in the kit. It's pretty straightforward. Just hold the flare in place, make sure the lip of the flare is flush against the lip of the fender itself, and then press the clips in place. You want to make sure that the barbed end of the clip falls inside of the holes on your new flare. So once you got both sides bolted down, that'll actually wrap up the install. And that also wraps up my quick little review of Rough Country's pocket style fender flares with this nice matte black finish, fitting your 15 through 17 F-150. I'm Travis, thanks for watching, and for all things F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.